Sarah was a little girl. She lived in a small village called Spur. The village had many green trees, birds, and fresh air. It was a quiet and beautiful place. But life in the village was hard. Sarah's family was poor. Her father worked as a farmer, and her mother sold vegetables in the market. They worked very hard every day, but they didn't have much money. Sarah was only 8 years old. She was small, but she had a big dream. She wanted to become a doctor. She decided this when her older brother became very sick. A kind doctor from the city came to help. The doctor gave her brother medicine and stayed for hours. He did not ask for money. He only wanted to help. Sarah looked at him and thought, one day, I want to help people too. One evening, Sarah said to her parents, I want to be a doctor. Her father looked at her and smiled. Sarah, that is a big dream. But we don't have much money. Sarah looked at him and said, I will study hard. I will find a way. Every day, Sarah went to school. She didn't have shoes. Her school bag was old. Her books were used and had many marks. Her pencils were short and hard to hold. But Sarah didn't stop. She loved learning. She loved reading, writing, and asking questions. Even when it rained or the road was muddy, she walked to school. It took Sarah 1 hour to walk to school. On the way, she saw cows, goats, birds, and big trees. Sometimes she felt tired, but she kept walking. She told herself, I must learn, I must work hard. At home, she made a small study corner. She used old boxes and wood from the farm. She made a desk from an old door. On the wall, she wrote a sentence, one day, I will be Dr. Sarah. This sentence helped her stay strong. Her teacher at school was Miss Leela. Miss Leela was kind and always smiled. She saw that Sarah was different. Sarah asked many questions and always listened carefully. One day, Miss Leela said, Sarah, you are smart. You can do anything if you work hard. Those words stayed in Sarah's heart. At night, after helping her mother with chores, Sarah studied under a small lamp. The light was not strong, but she didn't care. She read her books and did her homework. Sometimes she fell asleep on her books, but when she woke up, she kept going. Her dream was bigger than her tired body. Sarah also loved to play doctor with her little brother. She used sticks as tools and leaves as medicine. Her brother laughed and called her Dr. Sarah. These games made her dream feel real. One day, Sarah came to school looking sad. Miss Leela asked, What is wrong, Sarah? Ara showed her notebook. I only have 1 page left. I don't have money to buy a new one. Miss Leela smiled and said, Wait here. The next day, Miss Leela brought a small bag for Sarah. Inside were a new notebook, pencils, and an eraser. Sarah looked at the bag and began to cry. Thank you, Miss Leela. I will study harder. You are welcome, Sarah. I believe in you, Miss Leela said. From that day, Sarah studied even more. She came early to class and stayed late. Miss Leela gave her extra lessons. She also started something new called Dream Practice Time. Every week, students talked about their dreams. Sarah always said, I want to be a doctor. Everyone listened. Sarah's classmates started to respect her. Some of them gave her old books. Others helped her understand hard math problems. Sarah felt happy. She knew she was not alone. One day, Sarah sat with Miss Leela after class. She asked, Do you really think I can be a doctor? Miss Leela looked into her eyes and said, Yes, Sarah, I do. You are brave, smart, and kind. You can do it, Sarah smiled. Her heart felt warm. I will never give up, she said. That night, she looked at the wall in her study corner. One day, I will be Dr. Sarah. She read it out loud. She touched the words with her hand. They felt real. She believed them. Her journey had only just begun. But her dream was already growing, and Sarah was ready to follow it, one step at a time. Sarah continued to study hard every day. She walked a long way to school and came home late. Sometimes the road was hot and dry. Other times, it was muddy and wet, but she never missed a day. Her dream of becoming a doctor gave her strength. One day at lunchtime, a new girl came to Sarah and smiled. Hi, I'm Amina. Can I sit with you? Sarah looked up and smiled back. Yes, of course. Amina was kind and friendly. She loved to talk and laugh. Sarah and Amina quickly became good friends. They walked to school together, shared lunch, and helped each other with homework. Amina made Sarah feel happy and not alone. Amina didn't laugh at Sarah's old bag or broken shoes. Instead, she shared her pencils and papers. She listened when Sarah talked about her dream of becoming a doctor. One day, Amina said, "That is a wonderful dream. I believe you can do it." Sarah smiled. "Thank you, Amina. I will try my best." After school, the two girls studied under a tree. They made a game out of learning. Sarah helped Amina read better, and Amina helped Sarah with math. They also made posters about health and science. They created a small event for the village children and called it Mini Science Day. Sarah stood in front of the group and explained how to wash hands and keep water clean. Everyone clapped. It made Sarah feel like a real doctor for the first time. At home, things were difficult. Sarah's father was not feeling well, and her mother looked worried. One evening, Sarah heard her parents talking. "We cannot buy new books this year," her mother said softly. Sarah felt sad, but she didn't complain. She said to herself, "I will borrow books. I will write on old papers. I will not stop learning." The next day, Amina noticed that Sarah looked quiet. "Is everything okay?" she asked. Sarah nodded slowly. "We don't have money for school books." The next morning, Amina gave Sarah a small bag. "This is for you," she said. Sarah opened it. Inside were pencils, papers, and a few colorful pens. "Where did you get this?" Sarah asked. "I saved my lunch money," Amina said with a smile. "You need it more than I do. We are a team." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Amina. You are my best friend." But things changed again. One afternoon, Amina's older sister came home early and called her. Sarah waited outside. After a while, Amina came back, looking serious. "My sister is going to stop going to school," Amina said. "Why?" Sarah asked. "She wants me to keep studying." "So she will work and help our family." Sarah didn't know what to say. She hugged her friend and said, "You're lucky to have a sister like that." The next day, Amina gave Sarah a surprise. It was a new school bag. Amina came to help. They made flashcards, asked questions, and practiced together. "You are ready," Amina said on the night before the test. "Just believe in yourself." On the test day, Sarah felt her hand shake. She took a deep breath and told herself, "I worked hard. I will do my best." She read each question carefully and wrote slowly. After she finished, she smiled a little. She knew she had tried her best. 1 week later, Miss Leela called Sarah to her desk. "Sarah, you got the highest score in the class," she said. Sarah couldn't believe it. "Really?" she asked. "Yes," Miss Leela smiled. "You will go to high school. Congratulations." Sarah ran home and hugged her mother. Then she went to see Amina. "I passed," she shouted. "I can go to high school." Amina smiled and hugged her. "I knew you could do it." That night, Sarah sat in her small study corner. She opened her notebook and wrote, "Thank you, Amina. Thank you, Miss Leela. I will not give up." Sarah's journey was still long, but now she had hope, friendship, and support. She was one step closer to her dream. Sarah was ready for high school. She had worked very hard and won a scholarship. Her new school was in a nearby town. It was much bigger than her village school. The buildings were tall, and there were many classrooms and students. Everything felt new and different. On her first day, Sarah wore her old clothes and carried one notebook. Most students had nice uniforms, colorful bags, and new books. Some of them looked at Sarah and laughed. She felt shy and small, but she remembered her dream. She told herself, "I am here to learn. I will not give up." At lunch, Sarah sat alone under a tree. She missed her friend Amina and her quiet village. Then, a girl walked over and smiled. "Hi, I'm Leela. What's your name?" Sarah looked up and said, "I'm Sarah." Leela sat beside her. "Let's eat together," she said. Sarah smiled. It was the first time she felt a little better in her new school. Leela was kind and smart. She liked science too. They studied together and helped each other with homework. One day, Leela said, There is a science competition next month. Do you want to join? Sarah felt nervous. Do you think I can do it? She asked. Leela said, trying is more important than winning. Let's do it together. They worked on the project after school. They decided to build a model of the human body. They used paper, string, and old boxes. It was hard work, but they had fun. Sarah learned many new things. She started to feel confident again. On the day of the competition, Sarah saw many students with big, beautiful projects. She felt scared. But she remembered Miss Leela's words, try your best. When it was her turn, Sarah stood in front of the judges. Her hands were shaking, but she spoke clearly. She explained each part of the body and answered questions. When she finished, people clapped. Later, the results were announced. Sarah won second place. She could not believe it. Her teacher and classmates congratulated her. Even the school principal said, Sarah, you are a great example of hard work and courage. Sarah felt proud. Life at home was still not easy. Her family had little money. One weekend, Sarah went back to her village. She hugged Amina tightly. I missed you, she said. Amina gave her a small bag. I saved some money. Use it to buy new books, she said. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Amina. I will never forget this. In her last year of high school, Sarah heard about a big scholarship. It was for the best student in the school. Sarah wanted to apply. She studied harder than ever before. She read day and night. She asked her teachers for help and worked on every subject. One day, the principal called Sarah into his office. He handed her a letter. Open it, he said. Sarah opened the letter with shaking hands. It said, Congratulations. You have received a full scholarship for college. Sarah gasped. I did it, she asked. The principal nodded. Yes, you did. Sarah ran home to call Amina. I'm going to college. She shouted. Amina screamed with joy. You are amazing. Sarah, I am so proud of you. College life was not easy. Sarah had to study many hours every day. She also worked in the library to earn money. She made new friends who also wanted to be doctors. They studied together and helped one another. Sarah learned about medicine, science, and caring for people. Slowly, she moved closer to her dream. After many years, Sarah finished her studies. She became a real doctor. She wore a white coat and carried a stethoscope. But Sarah didn't want to stay in the city. She wanted to go home. When Sarah returned to her village, everyone came to see her. They cheered and clapped. Her parents cried. Amina gave her a big hug. You did it, Amina said with tears. Sarah smiled and said, We did it. Sarah opened a small clinic in the village. She helped sick people and gave health lessons to children. On the door of her clinic, there was a sign. It said, Dr. Sarah, caring for Spur. Every day, Sarah remembered her journey. She remembered the long walks, the hard days, the tears, and the people who helped her. She knew she was not alone. Her story began with a dream and grew with love, kindness, and hard work. And now, that dream had come true. Sarah's story is a story of hope, hard work, and heart. She was a little girl from a poor village, with no money, no nice clothes, and no easy life. But she had one thing that changed everything, a big dream. From the age of 8, she wanted to become a doctor, and she never gave up on that dream. She walked long hours to school with no shoes. She studied by candlelight. She used old notebooks and broken pencils. But she kept learning. Her teacher, Miss Leela, believed in her. Her friend, Amina, supported her, and her family, even with very little, gave her love. With their kindness and her own courage, Sarah moved forward step by step. She won small victories, a scholarship, a science contest, a place in high school, and then college. Each step was hard, but each step made her stronger. Sarah didn't reach success alone. She was lifted up by friendship, by kindness, and by people who cared. She also gave back, by helping others, by teaching children, and finally by returning to her village as a doctor. Now, Sarah has become what she always dreamed of. Dr. Sarah, she helps the people in her village. She gives hope to children just like she once was. Her story reminds us that dreams can come true, no matter how small we start. So, what can we learn from Sarah's journey? The lesson is simple: never give up. Even when things are hard, even when others doubt you. With hard work, kindness, and support from others, we can move forward. No step is too small. No dream is too big. You can apply this in your own life too. Whether you are learning English, building a career, or trying something new, start small, be consistent. Believe in yourself, ask for help when needed. And never stop trying. Congratulations! You've just completed a full story in English. That means your listening and understanding skills are now better than before. Be proud of yourself. Now, let's have a quick question to test your memory and help you interact. Question: who gave Sarah her first new notebook and pencils at school? A. Her friend Amina. B. Her teacher Miss Leela. Comment your answer below. Or B. We'll read all the comments, so don't forget to share your answer. Also, if you enjoyed this story and learned something from it, please subscribe to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to create more helpful and meaningful content like this. And if you want to support us even more, please consider donating. In the beginning, it's really difficult to make quality content for free. But we do it because we want to help you learn English in the best way possible. Thank you for listening.